Hey, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to my Steve Rising video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Estela, what are her abilities, how to make the most out of them, and also we'll talk about some of the best artifacts that you can be running on her to get the most out of her kit. And at the end, we'll just talk a little bit more general about my feelings on Estela. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, make sure you guys leave a like for some more Destiny Rising content. Now let's get into it, and the very first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to have a quick overview of her abilities, just so we can all be on the same page. Now starting off with her passive is Corruption. Whenever you attack combatants with your weapons, you accumulate Corruption. And this is going to be the resource that you're going to need to actually make your summons. So right here, as I shoot this servitor, you can see that meter right above my health is slowly filling up, and that is going to be the Corruption. And you gotta need this because that's the only way that you're actually gonna be able to use your signature ability and actually summon something. And we're actually gonna be starting this off with her second signature ability, Bewitch Illusion. Estela summons a Bewitch Illusion to join the battlefield and fight combatants of its own. The more corruption she has accumulated, the higher level of Bewitch Illusion she's actually gonna spawn. And the higher level the illusions are, the more damage they're gonna be able to get out there. Not damage specifically when it comes to like the actual attack, but they're just able to attack faster and thus get some more DPS out there. And you'll be able to find out which level of illusion you're going to be able to get depending on the amount of energy you have down there. As you can see, it's kind of segmented into three different parts. You have one bar that's really small, you have a second bar that's a little bigger, and then you have the third bar that's really big and like takes essentially like half the actual bar. And that's how you can tell which type of illusion you're going to be able to get. So right now, we're actually able to use Summon at level 1. Most of the time, you're not really going to want to use this one, especially because going from level 1 to level 2 is fairly easy. Use a couple more shots of damage is going to get you a level 2 illusion, which I think is definitely much better. Because as you can see, it does 2 ticks of damage just with one attack. And it also shoots a little bit faster than the level 1, meaning that you're going to be getting so much more damage out there just by doing a bit more damage and getting a level 2 illusion. Now, if you decide to go for the level 3 illusion, which is something that we're about to do right here, those take quite a bit of damage. It's a lot faster when there's a lot more enemies and you actually already have some illusions out. But this is the level 3 illusion. While it only still does 2 ticks of damage instead of 3, it does definitely shoot a lot faster. So most of the time you're just gonna try to get some level 2 illusions. Also, if you do go into the third bar but decide not to go all the way through to like get a level 3 illusion, you could just immediately toss out 2 level 2 illusions instead, which is pretty nice. And with a bit of extra damage, you're able to just get 3 level 2 illusions out there very easily. And these illusions actually each have 25 seconds. So they actually last quite a long time out there, where they're just going to be doing damage constantly to enemies. Now our second ability, Misfortune's Guide, is the way that you're essentially going to control your summons. You fire this ability off, and whenever you hit the enemy, it deals damage on hit, as well as inflicting them with Misfortune. Whichever target is marked by Misfortune will be prioritized by your summons, and the summons will also do increased damage to them. 35% increased damage, which is pretty nice. Every time that we apply Misfortune, we're also going to get some Corruption energy, meaning that we're going to be able to get more higher level summons out there, as well as inflicting those enemies with Corrupt. Now Corrupt is that ability that stops enemies from being able to heal, and it also increases the damage they take from you. This is going to be an ability that you want to spam as much as you can every time that you have it up. It just does so many different things. It tells the summons what to target, it allows the summons to do more damage on them, it reduces their damage, it stops them from healing, it makes it so they take even more damage from everything, not just the summons. And also, if that wasn't enough, it also gives you some more energy so you can actually summon some more things. This is the ability you want to spam as much as you can. It's going to be the main way that your summons are going to be able to take out some of those bigger enemies. Now lastly, we have the coolest part of Estela's kit. It's her super, the dragon. And I think it's just better that I actually show you this one. It's just that dragon that's gonna be going around shooting enemies, constantly killing them. This dragon plus setting up a couple of summons can give Stella a crazy amount of burst damage in a short window. Now, that does kind of go away. The damage definitely drops once the dragon goes away. But while the dragon is out and you have your misfortune going on enemies and all the summons are also attacking, the enemies are going to be taking a lot of damage. Now our weapon master here, the Store of Desires, will give our weapon increased damage whenever we attack an enemy that has misfortune on them. Whenever an enemy is affected by misfortune, if we hit them with a weapon 11 times, it will trigger an accent, which deals some solar damage. And it's also going to grant you some extra corruption, so you can get more summons out there. And if you defeat an enemy that's been affected by corruption, and you trigger some accents, then you get some more corruption energy. And this is the way it looks. It's going to appear as just a number right there. The white number, the 17,000, that was, oh, there it goes again. That was the accident, the quote-unquote accident that happens. It just adds a bit more damage and a bit more energy just to make her gameplay loop even better. Now the first relic trick here, Calamitous Pandemic, allows Stella's misfortune to actually be spread around. Whenever you defeat an enemy that's affected by misfortune, if there's another enemy within 10 meters of them, then the misfortune will transfer over to them, and it will deal solar damage as well as having just misfortune for a reduced amount of time. It essentially keeps getting reduced by 2 seconds every time that it transfers to another person. But as long as you keep defeating those enemies, it will continue to transfer up to 5 times. And if you're wondering how that looks like, it kind of looks like this. The debuff just keeps jumping between them. The next relic trait, Dreamate, will make it so whenever your super is present, all combatants with misfortune, countdowns will be paused, and corruption will be accumulated with 80% more efficiency. This is a very cool ability and it definitely adds a lot more to the misfortune and just being able to really pump out a ton of damage while your super is going on. So you just apply it, then you bring out your super, and then for the entire duration of your super, the enemy that you marked is just gonna be taking more damage. From your actual super, from your summons, from you shooting it and triggering those accidents, it's just gonna be taking more damage. And now it runs out because the super is gone. So always make sure that you have an enemy that has misfortune on them by the time you proc your super to really get the most out of it. Even if it's already been going for a bit, since the timer is just straight up just stopping, it will last till the super is gone. The final trait is Focus Fire. Whenever you hit an enemy with Misfortune's Guide, the illusions will teleport to them and immediately fire 3 breaths of temptation. Those are the attacks, they immediately just do 3 of them. And it seems like it doesn't matter what level they are, they will always just do 3. So it actually gives them quite a bit of damage. Just as they arrive on that target, they immediately do huge amounts of burst damage. So let's see here. Let's get a... I guess it's not really going to work out as well. I think we need a second one of these guys, because we already have our illusions already on them. But if you hit this, they all arrive and just hit 3 attacks immediately. And as long as you're able to switch targets every now and then, you're going to be able to constantly trigger those attacks. So they constantly just give you a lot of burst damage against some enemies whenever you're switching targets. Now let's talk about the artifacts that you want to run on Stella. And I have been messing around with many different ones just to kind of see why I ended up really liking. The main problem that I found with Stella is that she doesn't have any sort of built-in survivability, nothing that gives her damage resistance, nothing that gives her healing, at least if you don't have any copies of Stella. That gets added with some copies, but if you have just one Stella and no talent trees, then that's something that you're definitely going to have to focus with your artifacts. And so we are focusing on that. For this very first one, you have a couple of different choices. You have either Nourishing Pact, which is going to restore 12 health every time that you do a summoning. Since we are going to be doing lots of summonings, I mean we can have 3 of them out there. There's something that's very nice. Now if you're looking for some damage resistance, you do have the Warding Pact. For every summoning on the field, you get 1 stack of ward, which is going to give you some damage resistance, and it's going to be able to stack up to 3 times. This, I think, is very good, because you're always going to have 3 summons on the field, so this is just always something that's going to be helping you, allowing you to take less damage. So this can definitely add to your survivability. Or another one that I also really ended up liking is Abundant Platisimal. Now this one works for a similar reason that the last one worked, because we're going to be casting our abilities quite a lot. Every time we summon something, that's an ability to cast it. Every time we mark something, that's an ability to cast it. And because the casting cooldown is so low, we can really abuse this artifact here to use getting a ton of healing. Every time that we cast an ability, we restore health for 5 seconds, and that effect is going to be able to stack up to 3 times, every time getting stronger. And this gives you a lot of healing. Because of all the abilities they're always spamming, you basically always have it at 3 stacks, and you're just constantly healing. If you want just constant healing, that's always there, I think Abundant Platisimal is going to be a very good choice. For this second one, Siphoning Pact was really good. Every time that your summons assist with a final blow, you're able to heal 10% of your health. So as long as you're killing enemies that your summons also hit, you're going to be able to use constantly heal with this one. Now in this slot, we also have Benjamin Platisimal, which I feel like also work pretty well. Whenever you deal damage with your signature abilities, you restore health based on the amount of damage you deal. This one can also be very good because they're just constantly attacking and constantly doing damage, and even if they're not dealing like a huge amount of damage, it is something that's always happening, so you're constantly going to be healed. So I feel like both of these work pretty well, but you want to use not rely on final blows, then you want this one right here, just so any of the damage they're doing out there is going to be keeping you alive. Now for the third one, Bellicose Pact will make it so your summons do more damage. And for this final one, there's two that I really like. Responsive Pact makes it so the first couple of seconds after you summon one of your summons, they'll do more damage, and this also affects the super. Or you can also go with Resonating Pact. Whenever your summons attack the same target as you, they deal 28% more damage. Both of these I think are going to be really good. It just kind of depends what you're doing. I feel like this one's going to be better for like boss damage and some damage phases where you and the summons are doing damage. But I think for general play, when you're constantly summoning, this is going to be the better one of the two. Now for the weapons that you want to run on your Stella, the Furious 3, because everyone has it, is a very good choice. It's a really good weapon, you can output quite a bit of damage with it, and that increasing its rate of fire as you fire the weapon does make it pretty nice for just building up a bunch of corruption energy. And it gets even better once you start getting to some of these catalysts, specifically this one right here. This catalyst band that makes it so you get ammo back into the magazine. That's gonna make this weapon into a beast, and definitely very good with Stella, as well as just being able to take advantage of the actual exotic perk and the increased RPM, just a lot better on this weapon. For your machine gun, Scorcher is the way to go. It shoots faster, and because of that, it can trigger more accidents. Since your weapon mastery is based on the amount of hits, you want to just get as many shots out there as quickly as possible so you can trigger it more and more, and the Scorch Earth is just perfect at that with its higher RPM. The LMGs in this game, I feel like they're pretty underwhelming. Right now, they're not the best type of heavy weapon. I think they're outmatched by pretty much everything else, except maybe swords. But I feel like this one's definitely going to work pretty well with Stella. But if you do have the exotic one, I definitely recommend that you give it a try. Now, I do not have it, so I cannot compare like the Gallows to the Furious, unfortunately. But I do remember this one being really good, and it's 100% like the best machine gun in the game right now. And if you do go with the Gallows, then you could easily go with an Ultimatum. There's a great pulse rifle, and if you can get it with some nice mythic perks, you're gonna have a pretty good time. So that's why I'm gonna recommend that you run your Stella, so you can get a bunch of damage on your summons, as well as improving her main weakness, being her survivability. Remember to keep spamming your summons, and try to take advantage of only level 2 or level 3 summons. I feel like having a bunch of level 2 ones is pretty good, especially because while you have all those level 2 ones, that's when you can really go around and like start building up energy to get some level 3 ones and start replacing the level 2s. But overall, I've really been enjoying my time with Stella. Whenever you set up enough summons out there, and then you summon your dragon and inflict misfortune on an enemy, she can output ridiculous amounts of burst damage. She is crazy at outputting some burst damage, but without the dragon, without the super, her damage is definitely much lower. But in small windows where you can damage things very briefly, she just destroys them. But I definitely think that I'm gonna have to spend more time with her in some endgame activities before I can really say if she's better or worse than like Wind. and in which cases, because I think there's going to come down to, you know, some cases where Stella's better and some cases where Wen is better. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, hopefully you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone, have a good rest of your day, peace.